One ranking, I have but one ranking only for you. Hey guys, Harry Thomas here, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to my ranking of the Snow White movies from 1937 to 2025, which will include the two Disney Snow White, both the animated and live action, including the live action ones from the 2010s. And so, mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest Snow White movie of them all? I think we all know the answers to that, but just for fun, let's take an in-depth look at that. So, without further ado, if you want to know my personal ranking of the uh, uh, five Snow White movies, then just keep watching. At number five, at the very bottom, the most unnecessary Snow White movie, and in my humble opinion, still the worst, The Huntsman Winter's War. Does this even qualify as a Snow White movie? Where the fuck is Snow White? It's not even about Snow White, it's the story before Snow White. Nobody asked for this. Nobody asked for the prequel or backstory to the Huntsman, who's supposed to be just a minor character. This the very existence of this prequel just baffles me. This was an instant cash grab from Universal. All their live action Snow White cinematic universe failed spectacularly. It was never gonna be Disney's, and yeah, Chris Hemsworth, he is his character is trying to be the four of Snow White with just with an axe instead of a hammer, but he uh, the Huntsman should not be a lead character, and I don't know what Jessica Chastain was doing in this movie, but it's a complete waste of her talent. That goes for Emily Blunt too, and Charlize Theron as the Queen. And we know where the Huntsman and the Queen stories are going to go, so the plots are predictable as shit. Thank heavens it's a bombed harder so that Universal got the message and put this shitty live action franchise to rest. At number four, a Mirror Mirror, the most overrated Snow White movie. I am still uh, completely perplexed by the fan base Mirror Mirror has. I'm sorry, this movie's terrible, and I mean, for one thing, the production design sucks. This is the cheapest looking of all the Snow White movies. It just looks like a cheaply made a Snow White pantomime. Even the title Mirror Mirror plays this as a comedy when Snow White is not supposed to be a comedy. So it's it gets the tone of the story completely backwards, even with a A-list cast like Julia Roberts as the Queen, and she is great in anything she does. But the entire time, I just could not stop laughing at how unbelievably silly Mirror Mirror is as a movie. Number three, Snow White and the Huntsman. I think this movie is just a tad overhated. I mean, I think it's a watchable personally. It is just plagued with flaws. It's really slow in places and make the huntsman too big a part of the story than he needs to be. And yeah, the dwarves were clearly just Hobbit knockoffs, and the fact that we got two live action Snow Whites in 2012, I guess, was an attempt by studios to cash in on the 75th anniversary of the Disney animated Snow White, even though Kristen Stewart, she's a okay-ish Snow White, and and her English voice that she puts on is convincing, and she does have skin as white as Snow White, so you can see why they cast her, and I would still watch her in this over Bella in Twilight any day. And this movie is a more of a war epic than other Snow White adaptations, so I can see it was trying. I appreciate that it was trying to be more epic, and Charlize Theron, she was nearly flawless as the Queen. Number two, uh, at number two, please forgive me, but Snow White 2025. Hi ho, hi ho. I didn't hate this remake. No. Hi ho. I know, I know, I know, I know. You're all really pissed. Yes, I, I'm. My review was one of the most generous reviews for this remake to be posted on YouTube. But for all its production hell and backlash and even the despicable bullying of Rachel Zegler, she did not deserve that. I, in terms of the two Disney remakes we're getting this year, between this and Lilo and Stitch, I am pro Snow White, and I'm not going to apologize for that. And Rachel Zegler, the part that everybody was bashing more than any body in the cast, she turned out to be the most praised thing about the movie. Even the naysayers admit they were wrong to harshly judge her as Snow White, and yeah, even this is why Gal Gadot was unavailable for Barbie, as she was preoccupied filming Snow White at the time. But she is pretty underrated as the Queen, and I can't. I'm sick of the hate Gal Gadot gets these days. When remember back when she was loved, when she was Wonder Woman, I really miss those days. And Jonathan and his bandits kind of gave me Robin Hood and his Merry Men vibes, and Flynn Rider from Tangled, but they were clearly in the reshoot, so to make sure there was more of a love story, because to please audiences. And but so yeah, the dwarves are suck. Even I can't defend the dwarves here, and the majority of the new songs uh, were acceptable additions. Well, aside from Princess Problems, that was the most forgettable of the added songs. But you all know what my favourite Snow White movie is. My number one favourite Snow White's movie is, of course, and forever will be, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs 1937. Mwah, mwah. One of the uh, a literal greatest movies and pieces of cinema ever made, period. And without it, movies and blockbusters and animation in general would be vastly different today. I mean, Walt Disney, what a pioneer. And he invented film with this, and it shows that animation can be taken seriously and tell a feature length story as well as live action. And this is the uh, most influential and most important movie of the 30s. Sorry, Wizard of Oz, King Kong 1933, and Gone with the Wind, but you can see why this movie wowed the world at the time and still wows the world nearly 90 years after its release. And boy, its 100th anniversary in 2037 is going to be a true milestone. But yeah, the Snow White in this movie, she is the kindest and version of Snow White, and the first ever Disney princess, and like a mother to the seven dwarves and the animals. And the dwarves and the animals are simply adorable, unlike in the remake, with Happy being my personal favourite, because how we wish we could be happy 24/7. And uh, the this movie has features some of the scariest shit in any Disney movie, with the Queen and her transforming into the female version of Palpatine, and the and the climax when she nearly crushes the dwarves of the boulder. I mean, that is a finale with real stakes to it, and has you on the edge of your freaking seat, unlike the anticlimactic rushed finale of the remake. And yeah, the soundtrack is pure magic and timeless, with Whistle While You Work being the GOAT Snow White song. Yeah, I am proud to call Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs 1937 the greatest Snow White movie, and no other version will ever surpass it. So that was my ranking of the Snow White movies, and the one animated one and the four live action ones that we've had as well. I love you guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this ranking. And what would be your ranking of the Snow White movies? I am going to be completely and utterly stunned if Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs 1937 isn't number one on everybody's ranking. But please comment and let me know. Please like this video and subscribe. Please follow me on Twitter and on Instagram. And I'll see you all next time. And remember, movies are us. Bye, guys.